You're smart, prepared, and passionate. So why do all your words totally escape you when it matters most? We're going to dive into exactly why you experience the freeze response and also go over the fight, flight, and freeze response, particularly when it comes to public speaking. Because if you feel like your mind just completely goes blank, even though you know your stuff, you've practiced, it's time to get to the root cause of this issue. And I'm going to let you know what to look out for and how to remedy it. Hello, I'm Stephanie Toma, and I am a public speaking coach, and I'm here to help you optimize your confidence and optimize your time on that stage. All right, let us dive in. So first of all, what is the fight, flight, or freeze response? If you freeze, what that can look like is go up on stage and your eyes kind of get wide and glaze over and no words are coming out. It quite literally can look like being frozen in your body posture, where instead of being fluid and maybe moving around, you are stuck in one position. It can look like you not saying a word or taking a pause that's a little too long, or a combination of all of those things. But let's say that you have the fight response. The fight response can take place if you are talking a mile a minute and maybe you're overcompensating. Let's say that you have this sort of way of being with your friends. You want to be able to have that same level of comfort when you're on a stage to be able to really connect with your audience. But what can get in the way is if you are in the middle of a fight response and you start talking a little louder than you normally would, even though you have a mic right in front of you. This can come off as aggressive and it can feel like putting on a front for confidence where you surely don't feel confident. However, it usually doesn't feel very good, and people can kind of pick up on the lack of authenticity in what can be kind of abrasive and boastful when you are in a fight response when public speaking. You also want to look out for these things in the fight response: over preparing obsessively, becoming perfectionistic, being annoyed or even triggered by audience responses, such as hecklers, or trying to dominate or over explain. So, this is when it becomes less about your audience and connecting with them and more about you being heard. The flight response comes into play when you seriously have considered canceling so many times. You have woken up and you wonder, oh, did I lose my voice? Oh, am I feeling kind of under the weather? I don't want to get anyone else sick, when you know that you are definitely not sick. What this can look like is passing up opportunities, making excuses that get you not preparing for your talk, but preparing for ways you could get out of it. And then let's say that you make it to the presentation, but you are still in that flight sort of response. What that can look like is that your voice stays quiet and low energy. You don't take up a lot of space. You're physically present, but your actual presence and all of your knowledge and excitement and enthusiasm for the topic is vanished. You end up experiencing a freeze response. So the physiological factors you want to look for: if your palms are sweaty, if your hands are shaking, if your mouth is dry, shortness of breath, or that state of losing your train of thought when it matters most when you're up there. At a high level, why this happens is your brain is registering fear, and your amygdala is the fear center. It's activated, and it says, okay, we either got to fight, get out of here, or I guess just do nothing at all because it doesn't feel safe. And in those situations, you can become overrun with a few key thoughts that I want you to just have an awareness of in case this relates to you, so that you can flip the script for yourself. So the first is the fear of being judged. The second is perfectionism or imposter syndrome. And the third can bring up a slew of past experiences of being criticized, silenced, or judged. If you find that you're prone to these experiences of fight, flight, or freeze, or you worry that you could be in front of an audience, maybe you're speaking about something new, or maybe you've given it many, many, many times, but there's something different going on in your personal life and you feel a little out of your equilibrium, then what I want you to do is be aware of the basis of my Connect with Confidence system: calm, confidence, connection, impact. The very basis of being able to make your impact is having an internalized sense of calm so that you're able to show up in a way that is really rooted in authentic confidence. So then you're able to make great impressions with people, and then you can work together to be impactful in the world. So what we want to do before you step on that stage, before you practice, I want you to really ground into your body. And what that can look like is having both feet planted firmly on the ground. Are you crossing your legs, crossing your arms? Go ahead and just shake it out. A little somatic movement here. You want to roll your shoulders up and back. Maybe do some stretching or shaking, or a little bit of both. See what works for you best. And even while you're doing this, the thoughts that may have been circulating in your mind telling you, oh, I can't do this, or questioning your authority or whatever, your aptitude to be able to do this, those thoughts fall away because you are getting into somatics. You're getting into your body right now where you know the information. It's there. But sometimes it can get kind of pent up and feel like it's inaccessible because there is a lot of other stuff going on physiologically. So shaking it off allows you to root more deeply into that knowledge that you know that you already have. Another thing that I like to recommend, have a cup of water near you during your presentation. Taking pauses for intentionality can actually help empower your presentation. So if you find that your words are escaping you temporarily, no need to go into the deer in headlights and let the freeze response completely take over. You can embrace the natural pause, reach for your water glass, take a sip, make eye contact with people, and resume where you left off. One of the things when it comes to this response is to not feed into the panic, because oftentimes the feeling of panic is what comes over. And remember how I just recommended this sort of shake where you're getting yourself out of that potentially panicked response to then begin the presentation. When you're already there, it's not like you can just like start shaking and be like, oh, now we're good now. It's important to identify different positive trigger points that are less obvious, like taking a sip of your water. You can even consider a pressure point on your hands. Right here is a popular one. And sometimes we forget to breathe, and that can cause real issues, especially when we are using our diaphragm and we need that breath to really support our functionality in this life, but also our functionality on that stage. Essentially, the bridge from panic to presence is one that if you experience anxiety, it may be one that you walk every day. It's not about doing the thing you're afraid of less. It's about doing it so much that there becomes less and less and less of a chance that it's going to run the show. Not to say that there aren't things that you can do to ensure preparation obviously matters, and maybe even working with a mentor and considering getting support and being really clear on your speaking points and any nonverbals that could be expressed in a way that helps you illustrate your points even more. But just to know that oftentimes those of us that are in our heads a lot learn by doing. How often are you actually public speaking? Is there this fear that it's not going to go well, so you're not doing it? I would encourage you take those little opportunities that are out there in the world to talk with a stranger when you're in line, to use your voice in times when you may otherwise be quiet. And this isn't to say to give a speech every day in front of your group of friends, but getting in the habit of getting comfortable, being seen, being comfortable, not just being this elevated person on a stage that's talking at people, but connecting one to one can be the basis for connecting one to many. All right, so I trust that there's something in there for you that is helpful. And I'd love to invite you to stay connected in my email newsletter. The link is down below. And if you would like to go deeper and explore how you can be an even more impactful public speaker, go ahead and check out stephanietomo.com/coaching. That link is also below. Wishing you a wonderfully connected day. Until next time.